Human scale teams use Tailscale to build trusted networks. Tailscale Funnel is a great way to share a local service with your team for collaboration, testing, and experimentation. Funnel securely exposes your dev environment at a stable URL, complete with auto-provisioned TLS certificates. Use it from the command line or the new VS Code extensions. In a few keystrokes, you can securely expose a local port to the internet right from the IDE. I did this in a talk I gave at Tailscale Up, their first inaugural developer conference. I used it to present my slides and only revealed that that's what I was doing at the end of it. It's awesome. It works. Check it out. Their free plan now includes 3 users and 100 devices. Try it out at snark.cloud/Tailscale podcast. Hello and welcome to Last Week in AWS. Let's dive on in. Amazon Polly launches new Gulf Arabic male NTTS voice. He teaches us geography via region expansions and about cultural differences through Polly voices. Mr. Silipsky's social studies class is shaping up to be one of the school year's best courses. AWS HealthOmics supports cross-account sharing of Omics analytics stores. I've often noted that AWS makes up words, in this case, Omics. I've also observed that Amazon's approach to industry verticals is to take the same thing they sell everyone else and slap the industry vertical's name onto a version of it, in this case, health. And so here we are, with something called AWS HealthOmics, and someone dearly needs to stuff the generative AI responsible for apparently everything at Amazon these days back into its cage, because this is ridiculous. New Amazon EC2 M7A general purpose instances powered by 4th generation AMD, yada, yada, yada. Great. The price performance improves from the M6A, but per instance, these things cost a fair bit more. Be warned. Amazon OpenSearch Serverless expands support for larger workloads and collections. Cool. Now how about it expands support for being actually serverless? You've got a manually provisioned capacity on this thing, which is basically just OpenSearch with extra steps. Reduce Lambda cold start times. Migrate to AWS SDK for JavaScript v3. Or eliminate them entirely by migrating to EC2, so long as migrating is a mitigation that's on the table. Architecting for resilience in the cloud for critical railway systems. Am I the only one who's a bit concerned at the idea of life-critical systems hanging out in US East 1? How Amazon Shopping uses Amazon Recognition content moderation to review harmful images in product reviews. Witness Amazon's leadership and prowess with AI/ML, given one of its showcase uses, enforcing Amazon product reviews' sterling reputation for honesty, accuracy, and unimpeachable integrity. Zero-shot text classification with Amazon SageMaker Jumpstart. I need to drink at least 6 shots before I'm willing to try out anything labeled SageMaker again, seeing as how they still owe me $260. This episode is sponsored in part by Panoptica. Panoptica simplifies container deployment, monitoring, and security, protecting the entire application stack from build to runtime. Scalable across clusters and multi-cloud environments, Panoptica secures containers, serverless APIs, and Kubernetes with a unified view, reducing operational complexity and promoting collaboration by integrating with commonly used developer, SRE, and SecOps tools. Panoptica ensures compliance with regulatory mandates and CIS benchmarks for best practice conformity. Privacy teams can monitor API traffic and identify sensitive data while identifying open source components vulnerable to attacks that require patching. Proactively addressing security issues with Panoptica allows businesses to focus on mitigating critical risks and protecting their interests. Learn more about Panoptica today at panoptica.app. Build a multi-account access notification system with Amazon Event Bridge, which is way too much work for something that should frankly be a default for new AWS organizations, if you ask me. Someday, the AWS product owners are going to have a revelation. Perhaps customers have goals they're trying to achieve that aren't the care and feeding of their AWS estates, and that they might get further faster if they helped customers achieve those. This solution? It's a textbook definition of undifferentiated heavy lifting, made all the worse because it's lifting imposed by AWS itself. Getting started with CloudWatch Agent and Collect D. I'm sorry, why can't CloudWatch Agent do this itself again? If I have to install a monitoring agent on my nodes, I'm doing it once. I'm not installing a whole suite of observability tools. Cost considerations and common options for AWS Network Firewall Log Management. So wait, this thing costs 2 cents more per gigabyte and almost 10 times more per hour than the managed NAT gateway, and optimizing the logs is where it gets expensive? Holy God, what is this thing? I've yet to see it in production. And finally, addressing gender inequity in the technology industry. I went digging for Amazon's own gender equity numbers to set up a "this you" moment, but I was pleasantly surprised to discover that they're trending in the right direction across the board. Yes, there remains work to be done, but they're clearly doing it. And that's what happened last week in AWS. I'm cloud economist Corey Quinn. Let's go.